Morning, everybody, and welcome to day 12 of NaNoWriMo. And that means it's also episode 12 of Prisma Arena, the animated series. I think these days are catching up on me. Yeah, hope everyone's doing well. I've managed to spill coffee on myself whilst waiting for the episode to begin. But like I said, we are here for episode 12. I'd lost track. For some reason, I thought we were on season 2, episode 4, but it's actually season 2, episode 5. So it's going to be time to start wrapping some things up, I think, in this adventure. So the way it's been, my brain's been kind of going, and we actually did a Hub Games Hangout last night with some of the contributors to Prisma Arena, the actual board game, including John Fiore, my co-designer, PJ Holden, who contributed to the customization designs for the characters and also helped with the arena layout, and Winnie Sheck, who is a graphic designer. And I was reminded there's a couple of things that I had in the world that I haven't actually really touched on in the game so far, and that got me thinking about maybe tying some things in from the previous episode. So I think I'm going to, I don't know if I'm, I didn't lay that out. I didn't finish setting up. I think I am going to, kind of start with a little bit of narrative. I think I'll spend an idea token and just chat about some things, and hopefully that will prime my brain for what's going to come in this episode. So I'm going to switch to the top-down view and this. Yeah, okay. So episode 11 ended with Jisan warning the Terrapan Council of the I'm kind of calling it the trap. So there was a celebratory dinner planned supposedly by the Merchants Guild to kind of welcome the Terrapan, or kind of mark their time in the city. But the plan was to actually round them up and ship them out. And Jisan was able to warn them, but in doing so, he ran into a member of the Ravona, which is the I'm going to call them the kind of Raven ninjas, and he was cut by a knife, and now he has been touched by despair. So he's kind of got a slice kind of across his kind of like a gash. And the episode ends with him kind of warning them and then slumping to the ground. So I think, I'm not sure how this is going to play out, as I usually don't, but I kind of want to throw this into the mix. So I'm going to spend an idea token before the episode even begins. And I think there's a scene where Jisan, who is here, just give you a close-up view here. So Jisan so kind of wakens and is completely disoriented, and the first person he actually sees is Pian and Hurt, and they're kind of sitting watch over Jisan and trying to absorb some of their pain and discomfort for them, because that's what Pian does in the game. And he, as he looks around the room, he sees Valuna, who is the researcher from Beacon, who has been kind of tasked with bringing him to Beacon, is on a holocall with somebody, so using her device that she has. And Jisan overhears that somebody, it looks like a kind of a guardian, saying to Faluna, there's still no sign of the council. We're looking everywhere. We're kind of reluctant to do this, but we are ordering cities to raise their defenses. we can't risk an attack with kind of hope so close to awakening. So I think with that, yeah, we're just going to kind of go and so Jisan says, well, when is this happening? When are the fences being raised? And the Guardian kind of pauses and says, now. And with that, we hear this kind of rumble. And it's almost like an earthquake. Everything kind of starts to shake, and people kind of stumble. We hear sirens going off in Glorthan. And I think Jisan kind of rolls over and looks out the window and is like, what's going on? And as he looks, he sees the skyline shifting. So it looks like the skyline is actually like the horizon is dropping away. And he turns to Fluna and says, "What? I hope I'm getting their name right. I think it's Feluna. Let me check because I don't want to be doing it wrong the whole episode. Feluna. No, Nadelia. Sorry, it's Nadelia. Feluna's the bad guy, I think. So Nadelia says, and I think we're going to do a flashback. During the time of wonder, they adapted all of the cities so that they are using a gravity engine, so they're actually able to rise up, and they're used for times like this. And Jisan like, so I've been living on like a spaceship this whole time? And she's like, well, not quite a spaceship, but we're able to kind of gravitate up out of Despair's reach. And so it's a way of us kind of raising our defenses and protecting ourselves. And we can actually, the city can move as well and avoid Despair's reach. So, but just for now, we're taking a kind of a holding pattern. So it's a really eerie sensation of like falling, not falling, where the horizon is changing, and Jisan is feeling kind of really disoriented by this. But we see basically the city kind of rising up out of from beside the sea, and we see almost like the kind of engine and the parts underneath that power this. And the kind of the glow and the hum and the vibration as it kind of raises up out of the ground. And off in the distance, you can see other cities that might have been obscured by trees and hills, also kind of lifting up into the sky as well. So I think that's how we're going to kind of open the episode. And we're going to jump straight in. So I'm actually going to turn this off because it kind of covers the reaction card. So I'm going to just remove this banner here. I think we know that it's this episode now. Okay, so what we see is at some location, a threat is accusing, threatening, blackmailing, slandering someone or something. So, I think so. It needs to be someone who's perceived as a threat. So we've kind of had this kind of opening, and we cut to, and we see a what do we see? Um, Okay, my first, I just because I think it always grabs my attention, but I'm trying to think if there's any other organizations that I want to represent. I think outside the window we see a terrapan, like a kind of large, muscular terrapan. And they are so they're okay. So let me see. They are spreading rumors about someone or something. And so where do I see this actually? So I think it's right here in the kind of essentially the Terrapan kind of favela. They are, yeah. I think they're kind of accusing someone of bringing this when they basically see the kind of building shifting. They are. I get the sense of the picture. Who or what are they using? So okay, well let's see how this goes. I think the door opens and a because I think I'm still in the back of the apothecary, kind of upstairs in that chamber, and me Sam is feeling kind of really groggy, and I'm kind of stroking holding pain tight to try and help me with the pain, and I think I hear a noise downstairs as the kind of doors shoved open, and I hear kind of voices and shouting, and it sounds like they are accusing someone has got their hands on. Her name is Njura, who attacked me, and they're accusing them of working with. Well, let's see what they're. Well, I think they're accusing them of, working with the Merchants Guild, and they're saying, like, why shouldn't we kill you, like, right here and right now? Actually, why shouldn't we turn you over to the Guardians? And she says, so how does she reacting to this? My main thing is, like, she just looks and says, your words mean nothing. Your threats are empty. The despair holds a grip, and their empire will continue regardless of what you try to do with hope. I think so. She's not bothered by it. I think when I hear her, so I'm going to ask, am I managed to kind of contain my anger? So I'm going to do the opposite. I can feel the anger bubbling up in me, and I see Farg appears in the room, and I am going to take an action to try and control my anger. Otherwise, I'm going to rush and attack her, I think. Okay, so I managed to control my anger, but I think I pull myself out of bed and slip down a little bit closer. So that's my first action taken. So I'm going to pause for coffee as I figure out what I'm doing. So I kind of, it's like a kind of a curved stone stairs, and I kind of walk down to get a little bit closer. And I think I see Jisan, or sorry, Nadalia is there as well. And she is interrogating her as well. And I think that's her. She has a skill. Well, powerful intellect. So she's, I think, playing kind of mind games with the with Majora, and trying to trick her into maybe revealing something about the location of the council. And she's playing on her, I think, her like her pride and her certainty. So she says, and I see, you've successfully captured the council, and she's kind of asking where it might be and listing different places, and just to see if she can get a reaction from her. So no, she doesn't give it away. But I think Majora is kind of angered that I think Dahlia is kind of able to kind of like almost tell her what their plans are because of her research. And this kind of angers Majora, who thinks she's kind of really smart, but basically her kind of plans and motivations are kind of being laid bare by Nadalia. And I ask, so she's now being a spy. I think I'm going to try and first of all, I'm going to try and calm down the Terrapan. See, because, well, I don't think it's going to help if she dies, and I have a question that I want to ask afterwards. Okay, so I think when he sees how Nadalia is interacting with Majora, I think that kind of causes this guy to kind of like step back a little bit, and he's not so kind of in her face. And I start asking about Tila, who is Majora's sister, younger sister, who's a member of the Water Boys. And I say, does she know that you're what you're up to? Does she realize you're a member of the Ravona and that you're working for the Spare? So yeah, so I'm going to see how she reacts to that. I think I think she says oh, okay. So I don't know if does she know. I don't think she knew. I don't think her sister knew that she was a member. I still remember from the last episode. So I think she says, I'll always be. She doesn't know. I will always be a. I'm trying to think of like I tried to be a guiding light to her. Let me just zoom in. I think because I'm going to be using the dice tray a bit. I think she said she doesn't know. Like it's my job to look after her, and the focus has gone again. Oh, yeah, there. It's my job to be her guiding light. She doesn't know. She thinks I training or basically planning to let's see, she doesn't know. I gave up on hope. It's basically, I gave up on hope a long time ago because of what happened to us. And I needed money. And so the merchants made me an offer that I couldn't refuse. And they, promised to train me. And so kind of here we are. I give my sister money every month. It keeps her safe. I keep an eye on her. I have a guarantee from the Merchants Guild that they won't hurt her. So no, she doesn't know, and you better not tell her, or I will kill you. I go, well, you've tried once and you failed. So I ask, I think I'm just going to move on because the questions I want to ask are kind of tied into the next question. So the argument, I think, she's been captured. I think I need to bring her to the Terrapan Council. I think they need to talk to her. So with the kind of hulking Terrapan's aid, I think we tried to I think we're keeping her tied to the chair and like lifting the chair and bringing her to where the council are. And I guess they're kind of further back in this building. Okay. So I think when we get there, I think so. I think what happens is as we're carrying her in and put the chair down, she effectively just stands up and has managed to free herself in the time, and she basically says, I'm here because I choose to be here. Nothing can hold me. So I am a little bit nervous of her. I think then yeah, I think she says I'm going to be the council on my own terms. So we discover that Jorah has an evil ally. Okay, I think I think it's got to be this. So hang on. So I'm going to go to the top down. I think so. We've got the kind of symbol here that's been kind of used to represent the Merchants Guild. So I think I'm going to have that character from one of the early episodes. What's his name? I don't have a name. So I think when we actually bring her in to after Majora kind of like and the fuss of her kind of like freeing herself calms down. She turns and says, "Oh, it's good to see you." And we see the head of the Merchants Guild there, who Jasan doesn't know. He kind of whispers across to Nadalia, who's that? And she says, "That is, let's give him a name. I think Conran Dorset." So he's Conran Dorset, the head of the Merchants Guild, and he is arguing with the elders. Basically about. Let me see. I have some ideas. Let's see how it goes. So I think he's saying there's some terrible rumors, okay, so I think he says, I want to use the icon. So he says, some of my kind of eyes on the ground tell me that you have my dear colleague, Majora, held captive. I hope that, and I see that is the case. Have things come to this? Not only have, do you consume more, beyond our means to supply, that you also do not contribute to the kind of the growth of our wonderful town of Glorthan. And so I am here to tell you that we have no choice but to move you on. it's a hard decision, but so he doesn't have to control this. I think he's just going to bar them from trading, and so yeah. So I think we can't have people conducting. No, I think he's going to move on. I think we need something big. So he says, so I'm here to issue notice that we are going to be demolishing this area to rebuild it and donate it to the needy of the city of Glorthan. And there's just like shock from amongst the council. So I wanted to see how did they react to what's going on. I think it's like a kind of a jammer of conversation. They say, there's a mix of things like we can't go home. Our home has been touched by despair, and we will be returning to misery. Some are saying the ranges of Hendon will kind of put a stop to this. I think some are calling for so I'm going to use also give some are calling for attack to just tear down the council. And I think some say, and it's a bit I'm thinking of, we need to get help from Beacon. So I'm treating this as kind of like the world, and I'm thinking of like a capital city of some kind. Yeah, and that we're not going to take this lying down. And meanwhile, Majora is, I think, slipping out the door during all of this. I think Jisan looks around and notices that she's disappeared. So how are they reacting? So I have one question left. What would I want to know? I think Nadalia was actually recording all of this. So I have an idea. I'm going to use my idea. Nadalia was recording this, and she steps forward and she says, greetings, Conran. Thank you for sharing that with us. My esteemed colleagues, the Guardians of Hope, have been notified of your intentions and will be arriving shortly. So you're going to see how Conran reacts to that news. I think he just smiles and walks away. And says something about so I'm going to say this is about more than So I'm kind of using the size of this. So this is about more than the Terrapan. My reach goes a lot further. It's further than you think. And he walks out. So there's shock and horror. Okay. So, I think we go to. So I'm going to modify this, I think. I think I'm going to go to. I'm going to call this the. I want to call it something like the seeding, because I kind of talk about the seed of hope. So I think the core. I'll go to the core, which is in Glorthan. To meet with the members of the I mean, it's probably going to make my life tough. It will. So I think we go to Glorthan to meet with the incoming Guardians, and this is kind of like a. Yeah, okay. I'm going to introduce teleportation into the game, into the world. So I think it's a particular chamber that it's almost like a network that the Guardians use, and again built during the time of wonder. So we travel to the core, and on our way, we are so I think we are intercepted by. There's an arrow is kind of shot at us, and when I turn, I see it's Tila, who that's actually Piper from the Water Boys, and he is accusing us of. He's just like saying, ever since you came here, you've like strange things have started happening in the town. You know, we're on high defense. The Majora's sister. Yeah, so actually, maybe he's in Majora's sister's going. So Majora Tila's sister has gone missing, and I can't help but think you are involved in all of this, and so he threatens. I think. So I'm just thinking, I am touched by despair, so I am weaker here. So I think whether he's So he's threatening me. I'm trying to get to if I bring in an element of despair into it. And I think I kind of I'm going to pull up my shirt actually and kind of reveal the cut, and where it's kind of black from despair seeping in. And I think I say it's not me doing things to Majora. There's more to her than meets the eye, and I tried to summon as much as I can, even though I've got despair. My trusting Mokon. So I see if I can kind of win them over. Okay, so I do, but I think Tila steps out from hiding as well, and she is kind of shocked and stunned. She's like, "Not my sister? How could she do this?" But she's always talked to me of like doing the right thing, and fighting for a better life. And I think I say, I do say, I am going to try and, I think, summon Grava, who represents affection, and to say, there's one thing I can say, your sister does care for you very much, and she is fighting for what she believes is a better future for you and her. Okay, so I think in doing that, I've kind of won them over more, that I'm not kind of out to get them. But I do say that I explained to them what I think what the guild are planning, and I asked if they will assist me in this. So they said yes, but what will you give us? And I think Nadalia steps in here and says, for your bravery and service to Hope, I will ensure that you are all cared for and that no harm comes to you as a result of this. So we start scheming, and I'm going to ask, so what plan did they come up with? Okay, I think they say, whilst all of this distraction going on, we should take the fight to them, to the council, and so I'm trying to think. So Sam, and I'm going to cause an uproar. So I'm kind of using the sound that will awaken people to their plan. So I think what he proposes is that they're going to go and fake like an incident in the merchants that's going to expose their behavior. It's highly risky, but hopefully in such a way that the people will be up in arms, and they're going to use it's actually something that Majora gave Tila, and it is something in Romeo and Juliet. It's kind of like a poison, but it gives the illusion of someone having died. So they're going to make it look like. So I think the plan is they're all going to go and take this. So a number of members of the War Boys are going to go and take this, and they're going to ensure that they are found, and that it looks like the merchants have been involved in this. So they're going to try and set them up. Is the long-winded way of me saying this. So I ask, well, how can I help? Okay, I think he just says, make sure that the Guardians of Hope, so I'm kind of using the Prisma, the rainbow, are ready to, they're on hand and they're ready to get us out of here. So I'm kind of going to use the ladder. As soon as it all kicks off. Okay, but of course they have a dark agenda. So I think so. I don't think I. Please, I'm trying to figure it out. I think as we kind of make our plans and get ready to say goodbye, and arrange to meet at the Merchants Guild, I look back in the direction of where the Water Boys go, and I see them talking. I think I look up actually, and I see just in time to see what do I see? That's a bit too obvious. I kind of going to see them with some of the guild. So I see, I know what I want, and I'm trying to figure out how to tie it into the story. So I think they're going to blackmail. This is a trap for the Guardians. And I think as they're walking away, my Mokon of trust appears and is very, very anxious. And I think Nadalia is feeling it too, and says, I don't trust them. I think this is a trap. But I need hard proof. What's the hard proof that tells me this? and I think it's so. I think as we're having the conversation, they were kind of adamant that we confirm for them with the Guardians. So Nadalia kind of gets on their call, and yeah, they want us to kind of contact the Guardians and tell them what the plan is to make sure they're there, what time they'll be there at. And I think they gave a little bit too much away in their eagerness to ensure that the Guardians are in Glorthan at the time that this happens. So I'm going to put in that there. And I think we are going to go and well, hang on. I'm just going to ask, like, what's the evidence? What do we see that really confirms this first? I think it's so it's a weird one. I think it's to do with that Prisma shard. And they're saying, yeah, so actually, maybe they don't make a secret of it. Maybe it's a case of them saying that, okay, we'll help you with this, but actually, what we really want is not just the protection. We want the. So they're going to do what I do. Actually, I think we turn to go with this plan, and then they stop and they say, "Hold up a minute," and Piper says, "I've changed the terms. I want the Guardians to show me how to use this Prisma shard. So I want them to give me the means to control this Prisma shard, so that I'll never be the kind of defenseless again and at the mercy of others." Okay, so we're on our way to the core. So I think we are going. So the Guardians. So I think we run. So I think later that evening, the so we're planning to do this, but I think what happens is that the alarm bells sound in the city, and I hear that the Terrapan district is on fire. So I'm kind of just looking at this symbol here. So the Terrapan district is on fire, and we rush there and are immediately attacked by the let me see. So I think it's a trap. I think it's actually as we're running to help. The water boys. So I think it's so I think I'm gonna keep it simple. I think some members of the Merchants Guild, so they're armed kind of units. When we rush there to see what's going on, they immediately spot us, and they just say, we were warned about you, and they take a swing, and I am going to use my shield to kind of block them and push past them to get into the area. So yeah, so they're trying to block people from coming in, saying no one will come in or out. And I just tried to shove my way through with my Prisma shield. No, I'm kind of pushing, but they're able to push me back. I think Nadalia is going to call the Guardians, and she's like shouting, like, "Where the hell are you? Get over here!" Okay, so they're around, but they, I think, so the Guardians arrive, but they say because of an arrangement that's in place with Glorthan and the Merchants Guild, we've been ordered not to attack. And yes, we've been ordered not to get involved. And I go ballistic. I'm like, you're meant to be the Guardians. You're meant to protect them. And I can feel a mix of that despair and anger all welling up together. And I'm going to see. Yeah, I think I say, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to help them. I don't care about agreements that are in place. Okay, so I think Farg bursts out, but there's now wisps of like despair kind of coming off him as well, so that he's almost tinged with elements of black, and I'm sweating, and Farg is bursting through the crowd, and again he's like that oversized version, and he's just tearing through the kind of the thugs from the Merchants Guild, and I can see that the despair is spreading further through my body, because it's like, these are the Guardians, they're meant to protect us, and they're not even doing that. So I think as they kind of push them aside, I actually think the Guardians are going to, they actually turn on me and say, you need to stand down. You've been touched by despair, you are a risk, and if you don't, we are going to have to kind of sedate you or constrain you. And I think Nadalia steps forward and stands in my way and says, how dare you Jisan has shown nothing but constantly shown hope in the face of despair, and shown strength and compassion, and something that you could all remember. So I think they're still they've definitely been put in their place by Nadalia, but they're saying regardless, his power is too erratic. We need to constrain them. And I think I'm going to... What am I going to do? Am I going to burst forward? I think I turn and say, I'll calm down when you help these people. And I run into the city calling for Dika, because I want to help her and her family. And I hold actually I'm wearing the pin that shows that I'm a friend of them, which is probably what got me into trouble with the thugs in the first place. So I searched the city. I tried to push past the guardians, and go in search of Dika. No, I think okay, I think I've got no, and it's worse. So I think I'm running, but the guardians managed to restrain me, and they, as they're holding me and dragging me back, I look and I see Dika. She sees me, and I call her to come towards me. And as she starts running, I see like a building collapse and flaming like structures and supports collapse in front of her, and I scream out. And I think in that my again, I'm going to see, can I control? I think despair is taking over now, and I'm like, am I able to kind of keep my grip, or do I kind of like succumb fully to despair, or kind of let it wash over me? So I don't. So despair just like it kind of spreads across my body, and I think I am going to. So I'm just going to ask, which way do I go? I know this question, but I'm like, do I go into complete despair and go, this is pointless, or do I channel it through anger? Flame. Yeah, okay. So I think I turn and attack the guardians. So I have this. Well, actually, I think, I think I actually start blasting and firing. But the color of, so I throw the axe, but the color of it has changed. It used to be these kind of, bright, colorful lights, and now it's a dark, inky color. So I think what's going to happen is, I think in my head, I just think I want all this to stop. And there's a big kind of explosion of that wash of despair kind of emanates from me. And I'm basically going to see, does it, in my despair, does it actually ultimately do some good or harm? So is it able to curtail the fire through this kind of wash of despair? Okay, so it does. And okay, So this is a really good outcome. So I think I'm gonna take it when I get it. So I think in channeling that despair, kind of acknowledging it and seeing that it's there, and essentially I'm able to actually focus it for good. So yeah, so what happens is this wave of despair just kind of, it's like a wind rushes across everything, and it settles the flames, um, and enough, I think, for others to start to get control over the fire. Um, so yeah, I think it's just like a wind blows through and kind of like cancels out dampens the fire. Um, and in doing so, that kind of like rush of despair almost creates this vacuum. And people turn to me and look, and I see like these little threads of light coming out of people. Um, and it's like gratitude and hope, and it all kind of like fills in the gap that was left by despair. And it is like being punched in the stomach. It's just like kind of rushes back in. So it's like the hope fills up that vacuum that was there. And I collapse to the ground, I collapse to my knees, and um, my chin is on the ground, and I feel it being lifted up by someone. And when I look up, it's um, little Dika, the Terrapan girl, and her parents kind of run out as well, and they lift me up, and um, I think they look at my pin, and they're like, I think we're going to have to get you a bigger pin. um, and they give me a huge hug. Meanwhile, the I think the Guardians are rounding up the thugs. I'm being kept watch as well. Um, and but the thugs have been rounded up, and the Guardians, I think, then say, after seeing what I did, they say like, forget the agreements. Um, if there is to be, if there is to be hope, we need to wipe out any hint of, eliminate any hint of despair. Um, and we can see that this guild are intent on fostering this despair in Glorthan. Um, and we must remove their grip. Um, so I think that's going to end the episode there. The Guardians have arrived, are committed to helping. I look at Nadalia. She looks at me. She nods like, you did good. But I was a little bit worried. Touch and go there for a while. And so we have a couple of loose threads. So I think we still have the so what happened? So the Water Boys want the Guardians to show them how to use their weapons. We're going to head to power the shard. So their intent in kind of getting that. I think we have the Merchants Guild plan to relocate the Terrapins. I think that's not going to happen. So that's been resolved. Sam is still traveling to Beacon. Tensions are at a boiling point between the Bazee and the Rangers of Hendon. So that's still there. Ravona are in league with the Merchants. Yes, they are. So that's just kind of an ongoing thread, I think. Jasan has been touched by despair. I think we've resolved that. Is Tila in league with Ravona and the Water Boys? No, I don't think so. So I'm going to resolve that. Merchants Guild want to achieve the Prisma Arena shard. I still don't think they've got their hands on it. And the Water Boys want the Guardians to show them how to do this. Yes. And I'm just going to say Jasan is a risk. Needs to harness Prisma. Or maybe I've gotten better as a result of this happening. Okay, so I think that's the end of the episode. Whew, that kind of took some twists and turns. But do I have a note the merchants? We're running in league with the merchants, yeah. That's just, I think, an ongoing thing. So I think next episode is going to be episode 6. Yeah, so episode 6 in series 2. Let's see if we can get Jasan to Beacon by the end of episode 7. That's kind of my goal with each character, is to try and get them there, so that they'll meet each other. Because if we can do it all with kind of 7 episodes for each character, then we'll maybe have a chance for more episodes at the end. I don't know. I'll see. I might do some kind of backstories and different times as well. It might be interesting to kind of flesh it out that way. So thanks again for watching. Just a reminder, you can buy Untold online from wearehubgames.com and any good game store through Amazon. You can buy more story cubes online as well. Prisma Arena, the game on which I'm basing the stories, is available to pre-order from all good retailers and through We Are Hub Games. And that is, I'm going to put it up here as wearehubgames.com. It's going to be coming later in the month, and I'll be back tomorrow for the next episode. And in the afternoon, I'll be joining Michael as we continue our Prisma Arena kind of tournament, where I'm still attempting to level up to level 4. So he's made it. He's become a Guardian of Hope. And I still haven't learned to master Grova, actually, the Mokon of Affection. Once I get that, I'll be level 4. But great games. I do have the winning streak at the moment. But let's see that maybe he can pull out a few more wins before we finish. Thanks for joining me, and you'll find me on social media. Well, you'll find us on social media as We Are Hub Games under all of the different platforms. You'll find me as Rory O'Connor. If you like this, please like and subscribe, and spread the word. Let other people know. And look forward to seeing you all back here tomorrow. Take care. Bye.